We have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars and will be millionaires in my young 30s as a teacher and former software engineer. I want you to get a lot of money too, but I want you to avoid the pitfalls that I made and that I wish I wouldn't have made. So in this video, we're going to talk about the 8 money mistakes that I wish I wouldn't have made. So hopefully you can avoid them. And if you want more videos on mastering your money, your mindset, your habits, and your emotions along the way to create a life you love and to be the best version of yourself, feel free to click subscribe. The first mistake I made was going too hard in the paint. I was too passionate, too strict with my money. Have you heard of the principle, pay yourself first, live below your means, save, invest, put your money into assets? Okay, great. I did all of that. That's amazing. But I wouldn't even buy myself a $10 pack of socks. I wouldn't even buy myself a $10 pack of socks. So if you're on your wealth building journey, as I know now, and as I did know, but I just was so determined and focused and just relentless, was going straight into what I wanted to do and trying to get there as fast as possible, you can enjoy yourself a little bit. Enjoy yourself a little bit. You can take care of some of those needs, but also you can have a little bit of room for the things that you want in your life. You can buy the $10 pair of socks or Chipotle or something to treat yourself. I wish I wouldn't have neglected some of my main buckets. So I care about multiple things. I care about my family. I care about my health. I care about serving other people. I also do care about figuring out what I'm doing to make money. But on the pursuit of one of those things or my goals or trying to build financial wealth, etc., your other buckets could falter. And sometimes there's a few issues I'm dealing with my health that is partially because of some of my financial choices, partially because of not investing in myself and getting the right shoes and being willing to buy another pair of shoes or being willing to go to a physical therapist or get help when I was starting to get some hip pain or making sure I still got to the gym. And so instead of being singularly focused, it's making sure you do invest in some of those things you need to buy to take care of yourself and to have good shoes so that you don't mess up your hips or your gait or anything like that. But also remembering it's not just about the singular focus and deciding to give yourself a little bit of time for some of the other things you love too. There can be a little bit more balance. And honestly, I've heard a lot of successful people say that you kind of have to neglect certain areas if you really, really want to achieve something very big. But if you want to think of yourself holistically, just be conscientious as you're going through, hey, let me not get too far out of my health goals or too far away from my relationships and things of that nature, just to be conscientious of it. I think it could help you on your journey. The third money mistake I made was simply saving. I was a pay yourself firster and a saver since I was so little. I was fascinated by money. I loved coins. I collected coins. I also bought a cash register, a real one. It was one of my first purchases I ever made. But I would just save my money. And that's amazing. That's such a good thing. A lot of people just spend and spend above their means and get in a lot of debt. But I saved a little over $20,000 by the time I was 18. And so that money since I was 11 was just accumulating and actually going down in value because you lose 2 to 3% due to inflation. So I at least had the habit of paying myself first, but it took until I got my first job as a software test engineer when I was 22, 23 years old to start investing because of my employer, but I never truly invested until I was like 26 or so. And so that's still younger than a lot of people. But if I would have started when I was 11 or knew to invest that money and I had the money to invest, I would be even wealthier and richer. And down the line, I will be even wealthier and richer because your money invested compounds, and the more time you have in the market and in your investment, the more your money will grow. So don't just save. That's a great place to start, but figure out where to deploy your money into income producing assets. Another money mistake that I wish I would have learned was to actually go figure out who is wealthy and how can I learn from them. Who has written a book on exactly how to get wealthy or everything I should do financially? I didn't do that. And so I wasn't really in the place, like I wasn't really thinking about that, but my mistake was that I wasn't thinking about it. And so I wish that I would have planned for those things, because money is a tool and it affects every aspect of your life, and your job or what you choose to do to make money takes up a lot of your life. So I wish I would have known that how important it was to learn from people who have built a life that I wanted to, and actually taken a more proactive approach when I was younger to figure it out. I eventually did. I eventually reached a moment and had that moment where I was like, I got to figure this out. And my mind was blown, and I dove into financial education. And we are all lucky if you've been there. I know a lot of people on here are very passionate about financial education and taking care of yourself. So like, when you do it, it changes your life. And so I wrote a whole book on everything I wish I knew, and I'm sharing videos to hopefully help other people like other people helped me. Start learning. You won't regret it. The next money mistake I made was not learning about the fast lane. Okay? So we talk about the slow lane on this channel. We've talked about the slow lane, and so many financial YouTubers and just people out there in books talk about the slow lane. This is great. This is a great place to start. It is important to invest. You can become a millionaire in 30, 40, 50 years by living below your means, by investing a small portion or a few $100s into a Roth IRA and investing in the S&P 500, and you will have a tax-free multiple millions of dollars. But what they're not telling you is that they're employing a strategy of creating wealth faster. And so please check out the Millionaire Fastlane. I have some reviews and full guides on this channel about it. And if you want more information, please let me know. But there's a fast way to get wealth. And instead of scrimping and saving and living below your means and not living abundantly, I do think that really helped me and helped us get to a strong foundation. But there's so much more out there. And that's why I wrote the book, Everything I Wish I Knew About Money, to give you all of the options so that you don't just read one book and go, oh, this is the way. You know all the ways and you pick what is best for you. But there is a fast way to get wealthy, and starting a business or providing a product or a service. That is how the wealthiest people become wealthy. And now you could have a side hustle. You could keep your regular day job, or you don't want to do business and that's not interesting to you. But I just want you to know that it's not just about investing and living below your means. That's a part of it, but there's other paths that can get you wealthier. And I wish I would have known more about those options and known how to make them happen. Have you guys ever heard of The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel? If you haven't, it's a great book and a great read to understand your psychology. I studied psychology and human development sociology, and I was always fascinated with people, how I think, how other people think, why we do what we do, why we don't do what we do. And this is fantastic. And so I realized I had a fairly scarce mindset with money and fear, and I was very scared, and I was like, that's why I was building so much and not spending money, and I was just so scared to spend money, and I was just like, I need more. And so understanding why you're like that, or why you have a certain spending mentality, or whatever your money mindset is, really understanding the psychology. And Make Money Easy by Lewis Howes is really good for this too. And so I do have a review of that one. I don't have one of The Psychology of Money yet, but maybe I will do that one soon. And so really understanding yourself, your thinking, why you think the way that you do, can really help you to make new choices and can help free you. I'm living so much more abundantly and happily because of learning about myself and choosing to do the work on my money mindset and my psychology so that I can live a life that I love and still have the money, but not be so trapped by it. Another money mistake that I think other people can relate to is not talking about it, not looking at it, not having a good relationship with money. Okay, I love money and I got a lot of money and I would save it. Woohoo! But being able to communicate with your spouse, being able to communicate with someone that you're in a relationship with about money, and just to talk about it and to see what situation they're in. Are they in debt? Are you in debt? What's your situation? Or for you, I know some people have student loans and it's a lot and it's scary and it's overwhelming. And so you don't want to face it. You just want to keep it over there and just not worry about it and just keep living your life. But if you avoid it, if you don't face it, you're not going to be free. You're not going to release yourself from that. It's just like with your habits or with something emotionally bothering you. If you just keep drowning it out and avoiding it and numbing the pain, you're not dealing with the root cause of why you're feeling a certain way. And so deal with the root cause and be willing to have the conversations about money, because it does control your life. So don't be scared to have the conversations of money with others, but also with yourself. If you don't know how much you're actually bringing in each month, if you don't actually want to look at your bank account, ask yourself why and go do the work on that so that you can bring more money to you. The last money mistake is not using tax advantaged accounts. And so there's the fast lane. There's ways to build more wealth, but there are great options for everyday people and just for anyone to reduce your taxes. You're going to have to pay tax. That's one of the biggest expenses you will have. And so finding ways to reduce your taxes, finding ways to shield your assets in tax advantaged accounts like Roth IRAs, etc. And so use those accounts, start investing and paying yourself and making your money work for you, but do it in an account that is tax shielded. And so if you're just in your 401k, at least you're investing, but there's other accounts like an HSA or a Roth IRA that you can invest in that's double or triple tax advantaged, that you don't get taxed on that money. And so I can do more videos and information on that. If you want it, let me know. But those are the money mistakes that I've made. I hope you enjoyed the video. Here is a video on surprising habits of millionaires, or this video on the millionaire fast lane to go ahead and unlock your fast lane and to get rich in under 10 years.